Well, hi everyone. I've come on here to tell you about my little garden and the tomatoes. Well, I think I have sold out of my tomatoes, and my tomato garden is just about done for. Ron took down more than half of the tomato vines the other day, and he left up the big Ronettas or the rest tomatoes. And today it's clouding up. It's going to rain. But this morning I had a whole big bin where I keep my tomatoes out there. I have a great big huge plastic thing. Great big huge plastic thing. About like that. And it's about that deep or whatever. And it was almost full of tomatoes this morning. And I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do with them tomatoes? Because I was gone Wednesday from 1 o'clock until I got home a little after 12 yesterday. And so I didn't sell any or see anybody on Wednesday or Thursday. So here it is Friday, and my husband went fishing, and so here I am at home. And then a lady called up and asked me if I still had tomatoes, and I said yes. And she said, well, she and a friend would be over to get them, and she was a real steady customer. Get some. I says, okay. So when she came, she says, oh goodness, says this is about the end. So she bought 10 pounds worth, and her friend bought $5 worth, 5 pounds worth, so that's 15 pounds. And so after they bought that, why, the friend that has been a steady customer of mine, because I've been selling the tomatoes at 75 cents a pound, and they have never been sprayed or poisons or anything put on, and so it's like the one that everybody likes to go out here and get, and they pay a very high price for vegetables like that. Well, anyway, she says, well, this will probably be the last part, because I says, you've got a few more, but you probably sell them, and I says, well, after I sell them, there's a few of them out there trying to turn, and then I've got some beautiful green ones out there. But I said, it's going to start raining. She said, yes, it's supposed to rain for the next week. And I says, and then cold weather, and I'm afraid that'll be the end of them, or the rain will ruin them. So anyway, she went to the car, and she come back, and she says, Etta, here, take this. And I says, what? It's $5. And I says, what's this for? She says, I've been coming, and I've come over here, and I bought a whole bunch, and I canned them, and I've come all season, and you should have been selling your tomatoes at least for $1 a pound. You're the only one that sells yours for 75 cents a pound. And she says they're well worth it. And if you raise tomatoes next year, you got my number. Call me and make sure that you call me when they come in. I says, okay, I will. Thank you very much. So she was really nice. But I have had other customers to come, and they have bought, maybe 5 pounds worth, which that's only $3.75. And they've given me $4 a quarter tip or something like that. Oh, don't worry about it, Etta. I said, wait till I get your change. No, just don't worry about it, Etta. And then I've had other people, that will give me $1. While they're here, I said, wait just a minute, I'll get your change. No, don't worry about it, Etta. And they all brag about my tomatoes, and they say that they are the best tasting tomatoes. So, but then I had another lady to come by, and I had a woman call me up early this morning, asked me if I had them, and I said, yeah. And she says, well, I got a little bit of a cold, and my husband here, he wants to talk to you. This guy has got hospice coming in to see him, this older man. I says, oh, I'll be glad to talk to him. So me and him talked, and I feel so sorry for him, because him and his wife's been a steady customer for the last, ever since I started selling tomatoes. They don't live very far from me, maybe a mile or so away. But anyway, she says, well, Ella, have you got tomatoes? And I said, yeah, I got some right now. She says, well, I can't come today. I'll be over in another day or two. So I got to call her back and tell her, I'm sorry, I don't have no tomatoes. I had the little 4th of July, just about the size of a golf ball, and I had about 7 pounds of them. And this gal came in and she says, I come to see if you got tomatoes. And I says, well, I says, all I got left is these, and I got about 7 pounds of them. She says, oh goodness, is that all? I says, well, see, she's been a real good customer. I said, since this is the last and all I've got is these little ones. And if you want them all, I'll sell them to you for about 5 pounds, or, you know. And she says, well, I got 3.5 here. Unless I give you a $5 bill. I said, no, 3.5 just fine. So she took the 7 pounds for 3.5. That's fine. I'm out of tomatoes, even the little ones now. That was all. So my son and I went out there, and we have picked all the large ones that has started turning and put them in the bucket. And then we've picked all of the nice big green ones. We picked them all. They're tomato field. So when my husband comes in, he'll be surprised. He can go out there and he can do away with the tomato bushes now. Rest of them. But the tomatoes, I've sold every one. And then another gal came by, and she bought $5 worth, and so that was 7 pounds that she bought of the other tomatoes. And then I have this gal. I'm not quite out of the tomato business. I gotta wait till noon tomorrow. She lives clear across town, and she has come and she buys them to can, and she makes the juice and she cans the tomatoes, and she's bought a lot of tomatoes from me, but she buys them to eat too. And so June is her name, and she calls up and she says, Anna, have you got your tomatoes? And I says, I got a few left. I don't have very many. She says, do you have $5 worth? I says, I really don't know, June, whether I got $5 worth or not. She says, well, she lost her husband here a couple of years ago, and she still cooks and does everything, and she cooks a meal every day for herself. And she says, well, I can't, she says, since I live so far away, but she says, I'm going to go buy flowers, and I'm going down to the cemetery to leave flowers at his grave, and that'll be around 11 o'clock, so right after I do that, then I'll come by your place, because then I'll be over on your side of town. I said, that's fine. So it'll be around noon. So I have got $5 worth of tomatoes. I had to really dig, though. But I made sure they're good tomatoes. So anyway, and then like I said, when the little gal then come, and all I had was these little ones, and she took them. That's it. I got some tomatoes out there that's a turning. And then I got the green tomatoes. But that's the end of my tomato story, and I am so glad. Because you start in January planting the seed. So it's almost a year-round project. It keeps you busy. I wonder, is it worth it? All right, that's my tomato story, so I'm going to say bye.